Hey everybody, Paul Fontaine and Jeff Hawkins. 3 minutes late here on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel with the Dynamite Show. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching here on YouTube, on X.
Paul, it's Duke season in Los Angeles. It's finally cold enough for me to wear this, and of course, Virginia opening the season today.
I went, and meanwhile in Winnipeg, it's I don't know. I'm doing the math. 37, and I was wearing shorts today. So, but yeah, there you go, Virginia. How are they doing? Not too good.
This was the opening of the season, but remember, their coach retired 2 weeks ago.
That season, basketball. Okay,
basketball. Yes, football. Yeah. We're okay. We're not good, but we're not bad either.
You're also in a shitty conference.
Hold on. I know we actually go to school in our conference. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you.
All right. So this week in AEW news, one former AEW world champion, former tag team champion, former trios champion, Kenny Omega, when last seen in AEW was getting murdered in his hometown. Yes. I was told be patient. He's obviously coming back real soon because they wouldn't have done this angle. And I'm like, you killed a town for no reason. But anyways, he's back. Kinda. What happened? Like, what?
Yes, he's back. He's building angles and feuds.
Yeah, and, I didn't see him tonight on Dynamite.
Yeah, that's so odd because who pays his salary?
I believe Tony Khan. I think he might even be Tony Khan. I think he might even be an executive in that company.
A certain handsome gentleman wearing a Virginia hat kind of became a main character in wrestling Twitter. For pointing out that it's stupid to not bring back Kenny Omega on your own show first.
Well,
versus going to go. Well, New Japan is a very valued partner. Yeah, you know how valued they are. Tony Khan poaches anybody who he wants off of there. Yeah, it's a very. I mean, it's nice. How about this? I'll go another route. It's nice that AEW is building a show with their developmental territory.
Well, you could say the same thing about WWE.
No, but my whole point is television, and especially AEW, needs a draw of some kind. Yeah. And it would be a very, very nice special draw to announce that the guy that you wrote off as career-threatening injuries.
Yeah.
Who is allegedly a star in your company? I don't know. You know who is a bigger star in AEW than Kenny Omega? CM Punk. How about that, nerds? Go with that as a draw.
Moxley,
Hall of Fame voters.
So okay, when did this happen? It was Monday, right? Like late Sunday night, early Monday morning.
When did he show up? He showed up late Monday night, early Tuesday, I believe.
No, I think you're wrong.
No. You're right.
Yeah, late Sunday, early Monday. So
yeah.
that's.
And I tweeted, Tony Khan should not allow anybody to. He should. How is Tony Khan allowing this? I get that AEW is an art school type of company, but it's one of those things where sometimes you have to say no, and then Kenny Omega cuts a promo.
Yeah.
And says that while he's employed by AEW, the best wrestling is here in New Japan.
Oh, wow! I thought the best
Japan will always and New Japan will always be home for him. Now,
isn't the slogan of AEW where the best wrestle?
Apparently.
Okay. But I do watch.
Kenny does wrestle there when he's not in New Japan, building up a feud with Gabe Kidd.
So I watch New Japan as well, but I'm a little behind because there's a shit ton of wrestling on, in case you don't realize that. And so the last show I watched was I'm not joking, a 3-hour ROH on Honor Club show. Their regular weekly show was 3 hours long. It had 14 matches, in addition to a match they just threw in the middle of it from 2005 with Jay Lethal versus Curryman that featured dancing from the referee and Allison Danger, and like on an already overbloated show. So like this is why I'm far behind, because I watched this stuff. So I haven't seen the Kenny Omega thing yet. The last New Japan show I watched was October 31st.
Paul, it doesn't matter.
No, but I have a point.
Okay.
When I watch the New Japan shows, I always make the comment, Chris Charlton will always say that you have not proven yourself as one of the best wrestlers in the world unless you wrestle in New Japan. The New Japan wrestlers wrestling on the cerulean blue is, the highlight. So he's basically dissing AEW constantly. And he mocks North American wrestling constantly. And an executive from AEW shows up on this show and verifies everything he just said. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you a little bit of that.
Okay. Now, also, this was 3 days ago now, because that was Sunday night. This is Wednesday night. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
It doesn't take 3 days to get from Japan to New Hampshire.
No.
Is there any reason why Kenny couldn't have been on Dynamite and they couldn't have advertised it 3 weeks ago that, hey, on November 6th, when we're going head to head with NXT, we're going to have the return of Kenny Omega.
That's actually a very good point that I had thought of. You got there that I couldn't. I was going, where is he going with this? Because it's a wrestling
this is
thing.
what I'm saying.
And my point wasn't wrestling. My point is television.
Oh, well, and my point is television too. He doesn't have to wrestle. Like, we just want to see him.
Oh, they're building.
They did advertise.
Paul, they're making Wrestle Dynasty.
Yes.
More special, I guess, which will be on in the middle of the night in the United States.
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
I think so, yeah.
I just, it flustered me to no end that you'd allow you as a president. Kenny will be happy, and then you're running a business.
And then he's treating. I think I read a little bit about the promo. Of course, like I said, I didn't see it, where he's basically comparing Gabe Kidd to CM Punk and treating them both, either they're both storylines or they're both real. We're not sure which, but he's saying they're the same. So either Punk was a storyline or Gabe Kidd is legit nuts. I don't know which it is.
Well, there's a great difference in that people know who CM Punk is. And I think the last time anybody on American television who actually watches American television saw Gabe Kidd, it was either on a Rampage match or in the crowd sitting next to the Kingdom.
I think he may have been in a match on a Go Home Rampage before Forbidden Door.
Yes.
Yeah. And he does
all New Japan fans give a crap about Gabe Kidd.
He's the one that injured Eddie Kingston. I mean, they could build that up. He injured Eddie Kingston. He's the one that put him out. If they wanted to bring him in,
had actually made a point here. So put that last one up there because it was one I was about to get to.
Gentlemen, AEW focuses on professional wrestling, not television. That is the problem.
That is exactly the problem. Is that AEW is professional wrestling on television instead of being television that shows you wrestling. And it is a deep cut, and I'm sure I'm gonna get trashed in the as McDangler been stopped in the VOW Slack or whatever dumb channel that is. I don't care. It to me, well, everybody was rationalizing too. Like Semp to Brian was like saying, well, why does it really matter? They're trying to build up a show with their partner over in Japan. Well, all of you wrestling fans will rationalize this, and it's killing me because it's like everybody has kind of internalized that AEW is not a growth product, and it's going to remain little brother for the foreseeable future, as opposed to trying.
Yeah, and they're just going to cash the checks from WBD.
We're just happy to have this alternative to WWE. Oh, isn't that sweet? Good for you. Shut up and get out of my mentions then.
And the Bucks
I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to people who are smart.
Like John, like Curryhead.
Yes.
So people.
John is a man of love and taste.
We saw the Young Bucks leave AEW last week. Said they were going home to run the company from there. You know where we're going to see them next, right?
No, they are plugging over there in Wrestle Dynasty too.
They're going to be wrestling Tanahashi and Ishii, I think, on that Dynasty card.
Oh, thank God, because Ishii was like his mid card AEW guy. That's he
pinned the ROH World Champion tonight.
Oh yeah, well, that's true too.
Yeah. No, John nailed it. Like it's professional wrestling on television, and WWE is a television show about professional wrestling.
No, not a television show about professional wrestling, because there's a difference, and that was 2009.
True. Yeah. You're right. It's
this week's show is kind of a television show, or a television show about professional wrestling a little bit, and then it's like, okay, here's the card, and we're just going to show you what happened during that time. It was almost like you could have filmed a documentary style.
Right, which are you talking about? Raw?
No, I'm talking about Dynamite tonight.
Oh, Dynamite. Yeah. No, I mean, okay,
but
so
like 2019 Raw was
Yeah.
a television show about wrestling.
It was the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So who's gonna win tonight? There's a head-to-head battle for those that don't know. We had NXT on CW, and we had Dynamite on TNT. I haven't watched.
AEW will win.
And when you say win, you mean
they'll have
more
viewers and a better demo.
So you think they're going to win both the viewers and the demo?
Barely, but yes.
Okay,
because I think this is not NXT's normal night, and people are creatures of habit.
But WWE like did a really good job of telling people. I got 7 emails today from WWE, and this isn't because I'm media. Like these are general mass emails.
I got a few too, and it's good. They're trying, which is a good thing. But no, I think there's a certain segment of the fan base that will watch both, but they'll watch AEW live and they'll go back and DVR NXT eventually.
Stop the presses. We got a super chat. We will always stop what we're doing if you give us money.
Yes.
So DJ Cass. Hey, I like DJ Cass. I like him because he sent us money, and
he's a nice avatar too.
He is, yeah. So he says the one thing I've learned between AEW and WWE tonight is that both these companies have butchered garbage matches.
Yes.
And most of their matches make no sense. So the one thing I did watch was the opener, which had Dawn Marie, who still looks great, although she doesn't look anything like Dawn Marie. And it was a hardcore match. She was reffing with Jada Parker and Lola Vice. And yeah, I mean, I watched that, and it was shortly after I'd seen the Conglomeration versus the Learning Tree in a Fight Without Honor, which came after another Fight Without Honor that wasn't called a Fight Without Honor.
Right.
Yeah. Which was.
You remember when garbage matches felt like they were violent and dangerous?
Yeah, now it's just
comical.
Yeah. I mean, well, I will say that.
Although I enjoyed Thunder Rosa versus Harley Cameron.
Yeah. And even the AEW one, like it felt dangerous, just not for the reasons that I think they intended. Like I think they were taking some unnecessary.
Well, but they were
risks.
rare, It's like one of those things, like you'd watch. Like you wouldn't have ECW every week be ECW until they got to death.
That's true. They would show highlights of stuff that happened, but I mean, a lot of times the ECW, like the actual TV show, was just wrestling.
Yeah, it was wrestling, but it was like different kinds of wrestling, different stars. You'd have squash matches. You'd have angles. And things like that, and it was 1 hour and you get out. It didn't feel like it lasted forever.
The odd time you'd get a 1 hour show that was all an interview, and then another week you'd get a 1 hour show that was all a match. And
I wasn't
complaining about it,
but it was interesting.
Yeah, that Shane Douglas and Tully Blanchard match that I'm sure you loved and everyone hated.
Shut up.
Okay.
Quiet.
All right. So when I watched, what I would say the difference is, and again, I only watched the first, whatever it was, 10 minutes of NXT, but the crowd was definitely hotter on NXT.
Yes.
Also in the main event of Dynamite, they really picked up because they were into that main event.
Well, you also have to realize now that audiences are acting.
Yes.
More than anything. I mean, it used to be fans would come and watch wrestling and they'd want, they'd get emotionally involved kind of in the matches. And I'm not going to say they believed it was real, but they were a little bit less self-aware. Now audiences come in there and we're going to play our part. And the part that they were playing in NXT was that of an ECW mid-90s crowd.
Yeah, that's true. It didn't look like an ECW crowd, but it sounded like one.
I'm happy about that because that means nobody felt like they're going to be murdered that night.
It honestly looked a lot like their regular show. Like really, like it didn't look that much different. The setup
was highly stylized. I mean, it wasn't an ECW throwback show. Let's put it that way.
Other than the beginning, I love the opening.
I haven't seen it yet. So
they did the ECW music,
Okay.
Like, this is extreme, and they showed NXT clips. And, yeah, it was good. But then as soon as the match started, I mean, you hear, the first voice you hear is Vic.
It ain't ECW unless it's Joey Styles and Thunder Kiss
Right.
1965. That's all I'm saying.
And as soon as Vic Joseph showed up, it's like, okay, this is NXT. So and unfortunately, when you talk about the fans playing their role, I think the AEW crowd, at least tonight, I think a lot of them were just curious onlookers. Like that.
I think AEW fans are the type that look around and wait to see who's going to cheer, and then they'll start to cheer when they know it's okay. Otherwise, AEW fans have this weird fear of being judged.
A little bit, yeah. But then when it gets really good and the stuff is good, then they're into it. Like there's no question.
Once they're clear to go, they go.
So this show tonight was the debut for them in the SNHU Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. I don't know how big the building is, but they sold 2,647 tickets.
It's a college arena, so it's not huge,
no,
but it's
probably probably like
SNHU. It's Southern
New Hampshire
University.
Yeah. So probably like a 6,000 seat basketball arena or something.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah. So I mean, it was small. Like, I mean, when they brawled from the back and they went into the building, like, and you got that one shot, like, I mean, the ring looked like it was right there. And then, it wasn't a huge building, but when they made noise, it sounded okay. But when they were dead, it was like, oh my God, like some of these matches went too long.
I agree.
And we'll get into that. So the Hurt Syndicate came out to start the show, and crowd was actually hot for this. They all came out. They look great. They had their 3-piece suits. They're all matching. Fans are chanting MVP. They didn't get the memo that he's a heel. And he says, "Attention, AEW viewing audience. This is an official announcement from the Hurt Syndicate." And he made sure to stop and emphasize that. He says, "My name is Montel Vontavious Porter, but you obviously recognize me as MVP. I'm joined tonight by my business partners, my colleagues, my brothers in arms. First off, the standard of excellence here on my left, Mr. Shelton Benjamin, multi-time NCAA All-American, one of the most decorated pro wrestlers in the industry, and one of the most fearsome competitors to stand in this ring. To my right," and he looks over at Lashley, and the fans start chanting Bobby, "stands a multi-time collegiate amateur champion. He's got an MMA fighting record of 19-0. And he says, the almighty," and then he just stops himself, and I'm wondering, oh, maybe they didn't get that trademarked. But then he repeated it later, so I don't know what was going on there. But he said, "The Almighty is a champion 4 times over across 3 different companies." So I guess they're counting ECW as a
I think he
company.
paused for the Bobby chant. That's why.
Oh, okay. But he says he's a world champion in 3 companies. So that would be WWE, TNA, and ECW.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're a different company, like ROH is a different company.
Does Bellator count?
He never won the title there.
I thought he did. Okay.
No. They were building to it, but he his contract ran out. They didn't renew it. Yes, this is the almighty Bobby Lashley. As the Hurt Syndicate, our goal is to really enrich the lives of younger talent, uplift them, and help them realize their greatest potential. I want to stop here. And we do have another super chat, so I'll get to this in a second. But does he not sound exactly like Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree? Okay.
Yes.
And what about Christian? Isn't that what he's doing too?
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing this thing, and it's driving me nuts. And it's a modern thing where we're not straight ahead heels. We've come out because the crowd knows who we are. So we're going to get our flowers, and then we're going to turn on the audience a little bit. And it's just dumb to me. I liked the promo overall. I liked the presentation. I think MVP's great on the stick. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where it's like you need to add the heelishness while you're giving the guys the flowers. Because it's like he interrupts Tony so he can hear his own chant. And then he gets into the promos as opposed to telling the people to shut up so he can talk. When he goes to Shelton Benjamin and talks about him being an all-man, and he'll break your neck without even thinking about it, or something threatening.
I missed
that. Instead of just putting him over like that, let the baby faces put him over.
Yeah, and because he says, as you've seen, the time he's been here. He and I think the thing is, I think it's a little meta in that they know
It's very meta.
that people watching are going to criticize them for hogging up all the TV time. So they're going to claim we're here to help the young people when everybody knows that we're only here for ourselves. So that's the heat. Right? And it's not like actual traditional pro wrestling heat. It's heat as in you're going to hate these guys because they're hypocrites.
They're from the other company.
Yeah.
We're here to it's playing off of the what's your finisher? Can't wait to kick out of it.
Yeah.
Scott Hall type of a thing. It's like, okay, Moxley's here to help the young guys too, apparently.
That's true. Although Moxley actually is helping some young guys. Okay, DJ Cass had another one here. I'll get to this right away, and then I'll finish the recap. So he did watch both shows tonight. He watched Dynamite on his TV and NXT on his laptop, which I will never do again. I would never do that again either, DJ. I would just finish one show and then watch the other one. Mm-hmm. Skip through the commercials, skip through the entrances, and then don't tweet about it. And, he said it felt like both companies got each other's television formats. He's onto something there.
Okay, you've watched NXT, or at least parts.
Well, I watched part of it, yeah.
So what is he? What did?
Well, I only watched the first 10 minutes, but maybe. Well, okay. So NXT. Okay, I think I know what he's talking about. MVP started the show with his.
It was a very WWE type of promo. Yes.
NXT started with the credits, and then boom, right into a match. So maybe that's what he's talking about, because that used to be AEW.
Yeah.
AEW, like, you barely finish the credit. They don't even do credits anymore in AEW. They just do the hard open, and usually it's Moxley cutting a promo lately, but this week
DJ Cass, if you want to expound a little bit, you can do it for free, and we'll read it.
Yeah, and we'll
thank you for the super chat.
Oh, we will take that, because that was like, that'll give us like what we used to get on Patreon for like a month. So thank you. All right. So he says that we're trying to get these young people to come up the way we did, and how we became the most fearsome threesome, or the fearsome threesome, he called them. So if I should offer you a Hurt Syndicate business card, that card is like your golden ticket to success. If you accept it, it'll change your life. If you reject it, this is what happens. And he showed highlights of them beating on Swerve last week. So out comes Swerve, and he's got Nana with him, and he's being held back by security. He's rattling around a chain, and he just says, "You, me, Full Gear," and that's it. I think it was you, Swerve, Strickland, Bobby Lashley, Full Gear, and MVP says, "See there, kid," and they're all happy, and that's it. So.
And Excalibur wasn't expecting. Oh, I thought we were gonna get more. Okay. Stay in character, Excalibur. Just be excited about the match.
Yes,
and hype it. I couldn't believe he was so.
We need more talking.
We need more. I thought we'd have more of a confrontation there.
Swerve was great. No,
that was fine. Here's a question that I just kind of chuckled at while you're talking about that, because the name struck me too. What's the better bad name? Fearsome Threesome or Awesome Twosome? Which was the Tully Wahoo, and
I gotta say Fearsome Threesome.
And also, I think Bull and Rude also used Awesome Twosome for a while too. Okay.
2-man power trip is worse, and so is whatever Shayna's group is called.
Okay, DJ has followed
that. Yeah, I got it. That is the absolute worst. Whatever Shayna's group is called.
Oh,
the Pure Fusion Collective or something.
Pure Fusion Collective, which sounds like a 70s prog rock band.
Yeah.
Okay,
so what he said is it means that it felt like depending on who was up next on the show, that's who they put up against. Like the tag match with Bubba and Trick went up against the Adam Cole Malakai Black match. Oh, okay, interesting.
Okay.
So they were.
So they knew what the other guy was doing, is what they
yeah, and I guess they were counter programming maybe
and segmented out to go against each other. Okay, cool.
Well, I miss the counter programming. I got to be honest with you. I make the shows fun.
Well, it made the shows fun, but it also burned through a lot of things and turned into car crash TV, where we were just trying to win the quarter hour.
John adds to that. When one company had a match, the other was commercial break, and vice versa. So yeah, that's definitely counter programming.
So you can just flip back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Next.
So we got a video package for Orange Cassidy and Moxley. It was good. I skipped through it because it was basically just repeating his promo from last week, but it looked good from what I saw. And the Death Riders are out next, and their name is on that video. And if you haven't watched the show yet, go back, watch this match, and take a shot every time Excalibur says Death Riders. And if you're alive by the end of it, I'll be shocked.
I have no problem with this.
No. This is not a complaint. You get the name over.
Get the name over. Keep saying it.
Yeah, and he did over and over and over again, and it's fine. I that's what I did last week and the week before when I figured out that's what their name was going to be.
Stop calling them the Blackpool Combat Club. They're now the Death Riders. The Death Riders.
And I gotta be on record. I called them the Death Riders before Moxley trademarked it. I think he watches. I know he's listened to Fight Game Media. He used to do the show with Garrett, and he used to talk to and say, "Oh, I listen to you guys all the time." He listened to this show, said, "Hey, Death Riders is a great name," and he trademarked it.
And he's not going to give you a single buck for it.
I don't care. I just want the cred. I just want the cred. Okay. So Darby dove off the tunnel during the entrance, and they brawled for like 5 minutes to start. Excalibur was just hammering home the name Death Riders. Nigel's back on commentary. There was that interview they did like a week and a half ago on Collision where it looked like they were setting up a Wheeler Nigel match. There's none of that.
No.
Nigel was total heel. He says that some people in AEW are starting to agree with Moxley. Didn't hint as to who they were. This could just be him making stuff up, like Excalibur when he was saying that Moxley had a benefactor. Orange Cassidy did a whole long extended heat spot and then tagged into Darby after the break. And then Claudio caught him and tried a giant swing. And then next thing you know, he's doing a long extended heat sequence. Crowd was hot at the beginning of this, but they were dead because by the second time of a long heat sequence, they were just like, let's get this over with already. And then, they started doing a bunch of big moves. PAC hit a superplex on Darby. Orange Cassidy broke it up despite Claudio trying to block him. Darby made a hot tag and to Orange. Yeah, this got no reaction. This is where I wrote the match has gone on too long. Then Orange hit the Slumdog Millionaire. Darby hit his Code Red on Claudio. He rolled out. Orange Cassidy hit Claudio and PAC both with topes. Darby did his missile dive onto PAC. I always love that move. Did a DDT by Orange Cassidy on PAC. Wheeler shows up out of nowhere and interfered right in front of the ref. No DQ, though. Orange Cassidy hit him with an orange punch, and then he hit PAC with one. Then Marina shows up, kicks the ref in the balls. Mox shows up, chokes out Orange
Cassidy.
Balls
or the head? I thought she kicked him.
I don't know. Maybe it was the head. I wrote that she showed up and kicked him. Maybe she kicked him in the head. Is that what she did? Maybe she laid him out, whatever she did.
Yes.
And Mox showed up, choked out Orange Cassidy. Darby cracked Mox in the back with a skateboard. Bunch of refs came out. Bells going off, or they're ringing the bell. Match is no contest. So we got a screw job here.
I agree with you. This match was too long, and it was because they wanted to give Darby a babyface fire hot tag, cool him off, and then give Orange Cassidy a babyface hot fire hot tag, and you get one hot tag.
Yeah,
and then the crowd's exhausted. So,
or you can build to the second one, but they just went right to it.
Yes, they went right to it, and the crowd was not significantly down enough.
Yeah,
so it wore them out. So that was cool.
You got to work the crowd during the heat. You got to have Orange on the thing going, and they didn't do any of that. Yeah,
begging for the tag. Oh my God, Darby might be killed and we'll lose this match or whatever. Yeah, I agree with that. The stoppage, I was kind of like, all right, cool. We don't want to do. We want to do a DQ here.
If they were just going to do that, they should have just done it when Wheeler jumped in.
I agree.
Yeah.
I had another point I can't remember, but I know it. I love, but don't get me wrong, I love Darby's hot tag. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's the second best in AEW.
Next the best to one is? Who? The Outrunners?
Turbo Floyd.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the best one in all wrestling, honestly. Like, it is so damn good. So after the match, I did this big long thing. Darby ran wild, beating on everyone with a skateboard, did a dive onto Wheeler. Claudio just leveled Darby on the floor with a swinging uppercut. Orange and Mox are brawling in the ring. Claudio lawn darted Darby into the ring post.
Yes.
Death Riders are beating on Orange Cassidy in the ring. There was a very light, like 3 people chanting Wheeler sucks. Then Wheeler laid out Orange Cassidy with a Bisaku knee. And then finally, and this was like at least 5 minutes, the conglomeration showed up and they made the save, and the Death Riders bolted, went through the crowd. So that was that. So they didn't even get their hands on the Death Riders.
Right, but they were doing that thing that you'll see sometimes in old Raws where one segment bleeds into the other. Basically, the conglomeration were being staged for the next match. That's the only reason they came out.
And they did this last week too. Remember with the Bucks and Private Party?
Yes.
Yeah. So that to DJ Cass's point, the great super chat that he did. Not that one. It was where he thought that both companies had the formats. Yeah, because that's a WWE staple. So although they haven't been doing as much lately. So yeah, as you said, that led into the Fight Without Honor, which again, we just watched 10 minutes of a Fight Without Honor after the match. And a good portion of the match actually was a Fight Without Honor. And here we go. So it was a hardcore match. They had weapons set up all over the place. There were chairs, tables, ladders. But before that, so they get the intro and then we go backstage and Ricochet is there with Renee and he's got a fly suit like he's already in the Hurt Syndicate. And Renee wants to know who his partner is. I think they did this to tease that it might be actually like Lashley or Benjamin, because he was in a suit and everything. Like maybe I was just reading too much into it, but
I think you were. But at the same time, that continue the segment. I'll get my note after it.
So he says, "I can pick anyone in AEW, but as much as I want to tell you, I got to keep it a secret." And then before he can go on, the Hurt Syndicate shows up. MVP pats him on the shoulder, says, "Nice to see you again." And then Ricochet says, "P, we talked already." I really bugs me the way he just calls him P. And he said, "Yeah, we did, but I just want to wish you luck. That's all." And Lashley was admiring his tie.
Well, his last name is P. First name M, middle name V.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It was rather uncomfortable. It was like the WWE would leaves the camera on a little bit too long on a segment.
And you got these three big dudes, and then Ricochet.
I had the Millhouse quote in the back of my head. Maybe we should kiss to break the tension.
Lashley looked like he was down for that. Honestly, he really liked that tie.
I want a darker suit for Ricochet, though. That would be
he's a babyface, you see.
Well, for now he is, but yes.
Speaking of really liking the tie, did you see Jake Hager and his hat? He called Tony a communist. On Twitter
I saw that. And I'm just like, stay off of Twitter.
You know what? He gave Hager like $1 million over like 4 years to do like nothing.
That's more charity than communism, right there.
True.
You muted yourself, kid. Paul? Paul, you muted yourself.
There we go. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
All right. Sorry. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, Jericho had a new jacket, I think. I hadn't noticed it before. Kyle was wrestling in his t-shirt. It's a t-shirt that says Con, and then the second line is Glom, and then the third line is ERA, and the last line is TION, and it's all got like crazy graphics like he's in a 80s sitcom.
So when Ricochet goes to visit them, I'll call him Shun.
Yeah. There you go. Or Con. No, it's got to be the end. Yeah, you're right. So they had a table set up outside the ring. Briscoe tried to hit a J Driller through the table like a minute in, and then Ishii put Jericho through a different table. We're like 90 seconds in this match. Briscoe did a dive over the ring post, knocked down Big Bill. Keith then puts Kyle O'Reilly through another table. Briscoe pulled out a ladder. Big Bill chokeslammed him through it, and then we hit commercial. This all happened in like 3 minutes. Like we've gone through 2 tables and a ladder, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. And I mean, they were like nonstop pace. So we come back from break, and Bill laid out everyone, but Briscoe gets to his feet first, and then before you know it, it's 3-on-1 on Bill. They're chopping the hell out of him. She took him down with a lariat, rolled out of the ring. So I'm gonna skip forward a little bit here to Big Bill and Kyle. They start brawling. They go to the backstage area, and there's just random people walking around while there's a woman that just got in the shot by accident and just kind of scurries out of the way. And then Bill put him on a truss and starts chopping the hell out of him. set up a table. Then he sets up another table, and he's taking his sweet time. Gets up on the truss, and he goes for a choke slam, but Kyle O'Reilly telegraphing this like he's Thomas Edison, synced in a guillotine, and they pulled them both through the table, so they're both out. We go back into the ring. Everyone's down. There's like 9 people chanting, "This is awesome." Jericho took out Briscoe with a ladder. Then he swung a chair at him, but Briscoe ducked, grabbed him, hit a J driller, set up a ladder and a table. Then he put Jericho on the table, went up to the top, does a perfect froggy bow. And I wrote for the pin, but no, Keith broke it up, Brian Keith. And then Ishii laid him out with a lariat. Briscoe dived out in the ring onto Keith, so he's out. And now it's just Ishii and Jericho. And Ishii hits the sliding lariat. Then he hits the brainbuster for the win. And I surmise that he's probably getting a ROH title shot after this.
Yes,
And
2 Hall of
probably
Famers
losing.
going against each other.
What was that?
2 Hall of Famers going against each other. Or is
Maybe.
Jericho not making
Oh, yeah. It's Briscoe that might be this year.
Yeah, but no, Jericho and Ishii, that's fine for a Ring of Honor show.
Final
this
battle
is
would be good.
This is one of those times I wish I had watched the Triller version.
Oh, you want to see the stuff in the commercial?
Well, I was watching the picture-in-picture during the commercial, and for some reason, Big Bill started doing this weird dance at ringside. I'm just like, what is he doing?
That's what he did in England that got him over.
Okay.
But that's a long time ago. Big Bill is not. Yeah.
He did this during the commercial break. I'm just like, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fine. It didn't really get anybody. I mean, it got Ishii over as a title contender, but I'm still wondering, Big Bill, they're not really doing anything to make him a threat in the learning tree. And they're not really, I mean, they give Brian Keith the button on the promos, which is funny.
But he doesn't win.
Yeah, he doesn't win. I mean, none of these other guys win. It's always about Jericho and whoever's going to be fighting him for the title.
Are you telling me that when Jericho picks a bunch of teammates to try to get them over, he actually only ends up getting over himself? Really?
I'm letting you go on record with that. I'm not.
Okay. No, I'm just checking. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on in this company.
It's you know what? It's very much like the other company where you have a star and guys who lose.
Yeah, and then what happened was though when they had that thing with Copeland, which was like one of these AEW factions, then they got rid of Copeland from that group, and then it ended up being 4 equals.
Mm-hmm.
And they all got over. Imagine that. Well, we have that with the Undisputed Kingdom.
Nobody's over in the Undisputed Kingdom.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, we got a backstage promo with the Death Riders, although it started with like Claudio and PAC walking past and Wheeler just walking past the camera, like brushing them aside. And then Mox grabs, he doesn't grab the mic, but he just stops and he talks into the camera. He says, just so there's no confusion, he's got Wheeler with him. This kid doesn't owe you anything. He's talking to Orange Cassidy here. Just because he slept on your couch years ago, just because you gave him gas money, being a nice guy doesn't buy you loyalty. Only a cause buys loyalty. He's not your friend, Bryan Danielson, or anyone. He's a soldier under my command. Darby Allin, I had high hopes for you, but you're a disappointment. There's a time to kill. There's a time to heal. There's a time to build. And there's a time to destroy. What season are we in? Everybody needs to decide. Maybe it's time for you all to stop playing at the thing that you take seriously. He had me for a while there, and then
everything turn.
Yes. I was distracted.
Yes.
It started out good and kind of lost its way.
He lost the plot about halfway through this promo.
Yeah, and then he realized it and tried to save it and didn't quite do it. And then I think he just in his mind said, fuck this.
And I think they cut this live too, so it was
it looked like it.
There's no second take, which would have probably
Marina continues to fascinate me, man. I don't know, like she just walks around with that briefcase. Nobody touches her.
She's a MacGuffin. She has a briefcase that's a MacGuffin, and she's a MacGuffin at the same time. It's
like they talk about her, but they don't ever
But it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing.
And why? Like she doesn't need to be there. Like there's no purpose for her. Like
she's
not
briefcase, by the way. It's
the belt. It's the belt.
Oh, that's right.
Because
So it's not a MacGuffin, but Marina is a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. Like she does hit people every once in a while, but nobody ever hits her because they can't. So yeah, it's
There's no
although
they haven't attacked any female superstars. So
other
I
than
guess,
Layla
so I
Gray that
guess,
one time.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that one brawl backstage with Top Flight. That
Because there was a woman hanging out with guys, so she could do it. But they're not looking to elevate the women's locker room. I guess that's fine.
they just added a female to Shane Taylor Promotion, so maybe they can add that to the group of undercard losers that Mox's
Wait,
crew lays out.
Trisha Dora?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
she's always been there.
No, not with Shane Taylor Promotion.
Oh, she was with
the
infantry?
infantry. Yeah.
Okay.
So Shane Taylor signed the whole group. They're all heels now.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah. Anybody cares.
This heel heavy company that
these heel company that the next time we see them, they'll probably be baby faces because they'll be being beaten up by John Moxley.
Probably.
All right. We go to Adam Cole and Malakai Black. So I was wondering earlier because they were talking about this match and pointing out that Adam Cole, was trying to get to 3 straight wins. And I didn't know if they had dropped the thing about Roddy, but Tony Schiavone mentions that Roddy got a win on Collision. So they're still doing the 3-match thing. So I guess he'll have his second match on Collision. Problem is nobody watches Collision.
I was hoping they were going to say he got a win in Brazil. That wasn't on television.
That'd be better. He beat, speaking of Shane Taylor, he beat Shane Taylor.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So he's got 1 win, and this week he'll probably beat one of those infantry guys and get his second win. And
he'll beat somebody named Lee.
Yeah, no doubt. Wesley? No, he's not available. Lee Moriarty. During this match, Excalibur announced that tickets for Allin go on sale on December 9th. They did the stuff again with Cole's ankle in here, but Black was too honorable to go after it. I don't know if he's a heel or a babyface. I don't think he does either.
Neither do they.
No. Crowd is dead again for this. Cole was selling his back and neck. I wrote down match is boring. They did the yay boo spot, which is guaranteed to get the fans into it. Not a single person, one, chanted yay boo.
Stop right there, because I thought they paused at the beginning of this match hoping for a "this is awesome" chant that wasn't coming.
Nope.
And I laughed my ass off at that. I go, you guys thought that this was going to get a standing ovation before the bell hit, and you guys are going to have to work for it. Good luck.
Do you want to know what the narrative is going to be from a lot of the podcasters out there?
Bad crowd?
Yeah, but do you know why they were bad? It's not because of AEW and they don't have stars that are over. There's another reason why the crowd was down tonight, Wednesday, November 6th.
Oh, because they were depressed about the election?
That's what they're going to tell you. So I don't want to expand on this, but get ready for that one, okay? Because it's coming.
Meanwhile, in Philly, they're all...
Yeah. So they go to the top. Malakai attempted a sunset flip, but it got blocked. Malakai hit a high knee. Cole hit a super kick. So they're just spamming stuff, just desperately trying to get the crowd, and they weren't having anything of it. The doctor was at ringside through all this, and the ref kept looking at him every time Cole would pretend like he was hurt. And then Cole would just come to life out of nowhere. He hit a kick and then a Panama Sunrise and a super kick, then another kick. And then he just fell and laid against the ropes like he was dead. And both guys are down. Crowd's cheering. Black started to get to his feet and then fell. And then Cole gets up, and then Malakai just sits in the corner of the ring, crosses his legs and nodded at Cole. And then Cole hit him with the boom. It was so stupid.
It could be interesting, but I don't think it is. Now let me make the case for why it could be interesting. Is that the House of Black is tired of Max too, so they're just giving it after the first win.
Okay.
After the Buddy win, Buddy talked to Malakai about, go, this guy has our respect, man. Let him go after MJF, etc. So after getting a little bit of respect, Malakai decided to throw the match. What I think this is actually is that I think his contract is up either end of the year or beginning. Fightful Select had something on it. And he's en route to go back with his wife.
That's what I read it as, because they were talking to each other too. And there was a thing, I think, where Malakai or Cole had never beaten him, I think was part of the story of this. And then he finally beat him here. Let me double check. You could do that on Cage Match.
Well, if Brody is the third match.
No, it's not. They already announced the third match.
Oh, did they? I missed.
Yeah. It's the big match for next week.
Oh, really? Great.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me see. Okay. I'm trying to. You know what? I'm trying to get the thing here for Adam Cole and Malakai Black matches. Never mind. I'm not. It's
I
going
thought
to
they
take
had
too
one
long.
in PWG, but
I think they said that it was 5-1 or 6-1, and Cole finally got the win. And so I could be wrong about that. Maybe I
I'll
misunderstood
look it
it.
up. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So they did this thing. So
Okay.
Black. So the match is over. Black is lying on the mat, dead. You could have drawn a chalk outline around him. Kyle O'Reilly was watching on a TV screen backstage and being worked on by a trainer. Black slowly lifts his head. So, okay, he's not dead. And he seemed dazed. They start talking to each other. Cole offered him a handshake, and Malakai just kind of brushed his hand off like this. And then he hugged him. And he whispered something to him. And then he left. So Cole says, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" And mild cheers. And he says, "To Malakai Black, you're one of the very best I've ever fought in my 16-year career, so thank you." And Black is on the ramp at the top, and he looks out at the crowd. Like you said, it looked to me like this was the last time I'm going to see the AEW universe. Pardon the transposition there.
No, it's interesting. They haven't fought each other in AEW.
Not in AEW. No. This is like before, like NXT and stuff.
Yeah, there's a crap ton of NXT matches, and then like
did Cole ever beat him?
At the last TV taping in a 5-way.
Okay, but not in a 1-on-1.
Never in a 1-on-1. Never in a 1-on-1.
So that's it. Yeah, so that was the story here. So fans are chanting for Malakai, and then so he leaves, and he says, "There's someone else I want to talk to. His name is Max." He's almost doing like the Roddy thing. He said, 2 down, 1 more to go. Roddy Strong needs to win 2 more matches. We're going to win those matches. Max thinks he put roadblocks in front of me and Roddy. Well, what if we both get to 3 wins? What happens then at Full Gear? Well, I talked to Tony Khan, and people booed that. And he says, when Adam Cole gets 3 wins and Roderick Strong gets 3 wins, it's MJF versus Adam Cole versus Roderick Strong in a triple threat match. And people not booed, but it was a mixed reaction. And he says, "Max, trust me when I tell you, you're going to get the ass kicking of a lifetime, courtesy of the Undisputed Kingdom, baby." So he's threatening to be a 2-on-1 baby faces versus heel in MJF's hometown. Not hometown, but close enough. So it's weird. Fans didn't really react to this like they normally do to Adam Cole.
Promo. No, and we know how this goes. Is it starts like the 3-way with Cena and Triple H and HBK, where Cole and Roddy are standing and they're about to attack Max, and one attacks the other, and then we start the match.
Yeah, if the turn doesn't happen before the match.
If the turn doesn't happen before, correct.
And then we get a pre-tape that was just kind of thrown in there, like they didn't even pitch to it or anything.
On film.
Yeah, on film. Max is drinking wine and he's mad. So presumably he's watching the show. He grabbed his phone and he called someone. I thought he was texting, but no, he was calling. And he says, "Yeah, I need you to pay someone a visit." And then he left. So we don't know who he called.
Apparently the curtains were very conspicuously closed too, as if somebody was hiding behind them too. I was waiting for like Wardlow to pop out or something.
Well, I thought Wardlow was the guy he called.
I thought Wardlow was the guy he called.
Yeah, but apparently he called an Obafemi lookalike.
Is that EJ?
I don't know who that dude was. That wasn't EJ Nduku, was it? I thought
it was, but maybe.
Oh, it might have been then. Okay, maybe it wasn't EJ Nduku. I normally see him in his wrestling trunk, so he was a big man.
Yes, he was.
We'll see him later. All right, here they put up the they announced this, I think, on Collision, and it's the Full Gear 3-way contender series. So this week on Collision, we're going to get the Outrunners versus Top Flight. Yeah, it sounds like a Collision match. Okay. Next week on Dynamite, we're going to have FTR versus House of Black. That usually sounds like a Collision match, so we're getting it next week on Dynamite. And then next week on Collision, so a week from Saturday, we're getting the LFI versus the Acclaimed. So the winners of these 3 matches will face Private Party in an AEW World Tag Team Championship 4-way, so that Private Party can pin the Outrunners to retain their titles.
Pretty much, and it's going to be the Outrunners, FTR, and LFI, because they've all been interacting together.
Yeah, I mean, outside chance Top Flight wins, but I think Outrunners will beat Top Flight, and that'll lead probably to the split that they've been teasing for like ever. Renee's backstage with Jay White, And she says, Hangman had choice words for you last week. What's your reaction? And he says, well, he said I have no idea what he's capable of. He might try to break my ankle or burn my... And he can't finish before Hangman attacked him. And they had this wild brawl. They went into the arena. They went back and forth. Hangman eventually set him up, put his leg in between barricades, but he grabbed a chair. He was about to like slam his leg, and Juice Robinson shows up, grabs the chair. Jay White recovered, attacked him. They end up in the ring. Hangman took off through the crowd. Jay grabbed the mic and he says, don't run away again. I'd love to know what you're going to do to me at Full Gear. If you want to know what I'm going to do to you, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to dismantle you, and I'm going to have fun doing it. They'll have fun watching it. You've never been ahead of me, and you never will be. At Full Gear, the Hangman breathes with the Switchblade once more. That leg will be your downfall once again. Maybe I'll be the first to make the Hangman tap out. Oh, you don't like the sound of that? Well, too bad. You don't like the sound of that? How about me, Juice, and the Bang Bang Gang? Got 2 words for you. Guns up. And Hangman was not impressed. So that's interesting what they introduced here, that Hangman has never tapped out. So I guess that'll be the story of this match. And he's been, I guess that thing with the leg last week that we thought he might have actually hurt himself was just him selling.
Yeah,
he was doing a little again this week, not as obvious as last week. So any comments on this one?
I still maintain that Jay White promos fall flat with me. I can't. I don't know why. It's the whole. It doesn't feel like he's actually angry at Adam at the Hangman. It just feels like he's trying to get around to get to the catchphrase.
What he's doing is so what I said about Kyle Fletcher's promo a couple weeks ago, where not for 1 second did you think that this wasn't like pure from the heart, like he wasn't. This sounds like Jay White wrote this out ahead of time and is trying to remember every beat to get to the next beat.
It's a very self-aware promo, isn't it? It's very, I'm still gonna be Switchblade. I'm still gonna be clever, but I'm a babyface now, so I gotta.
So the only thing is
those high parts.
So the difference is he doesn't mention that he sold out Madison Square Garden anymore.
Right.
That was a staple. And then whatever else, everything else it's the same. I mean, it's just he's saying it to a different person. So
and he never changes his tone. He never changes his tone in a promo or it doesn't matter how many beatings he takes. He's still the same Switchblade every promo, and it bugs me a little bit.
Well, and part of the issue here too was he was gassed. He was like huff and wind through this whole promo too.
Why? Oh, because
from the brawl.
Yeah, I guess.
So this segment here, Renee was with Chris Statlander. And she says, it's official. At Full Gear, you face Mercedes Moné for a TBS championship. How does it feel to potentially have that around your waist again? And she says, money can't change the fact that once again, I'll be TBS champion. And she walks off. And then, they're about to cut. And then you hear Renee screams, help! We need help! And they cut to Chris Statlander lying on the ground in front of a car. And the camera cuts into you see Camille driving the car. Mercedes is yelling at her, telling her that you missed her. Go get out and do it right. And then they get out, and then Chris Statlander immediately gets up, smashed Camille into the hood of the car, put her hand in between the doors, and slammed her there. So usually when that used to happen, the person was out for like 8 months. She'll be back next week.
Did she slam the head into the door?
No, her hand. Her hand.
Oh, well, she'll come back with a cast. She'll be Bob Orton.
Or she'll be gone. Like, I don't know which, but I mean,
down to ROH, I guess. I don't know.
Feels like they're splitting these two up. And
I really need Camille to say the line, well, I don't usually try and kill people with trucks.
Yeah. And then she slammed Moné into the car, and that was that. So she just beat up these two heels.
I hate this breakup. It's too soon. They haven't ever established themselves as a capable unit.
And no, the problem is they shouldn't have had her wrestling competitive matches this year.
Also correct.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to turn Statlander and Camille into a Twin Towers, that's going to just murder death the entire.
Yeah, and they can go after the women's tag team titles.
Yes, exactly. Well, the medals. We could have the tournament for the medals again, and have we can finally find something for Diamante and Ivelisse.
Bring back the Ivelisse. I forgot about it. bring back the Brandy Bowl.
Sure.
So I think they had a different name for it, but I just called it the Brandy Bowl because I couldn't remember Tony Khan's goofy name. All right, Christian's in the ring. They'd been promoting a face to face with Hook. So he says, Manchester, sit down and shut your mouths while I conduct my business. People are wondering about the security deal out here. It's simple. I just need a chance to explain myself. It's for everyone's protection.
So in continuity,
Yeah.
because the previous security was beat up during the conglomeration Death Riders segment. Tony Khan has reserve ninjas.
Yeah, they're
available.
Security, they have their heads are covered.
Jacksonville Ninjas.
Because they're probably the same guys from before, but Tony figures that everyone's going to recognize them.
There's probably no local talent in the New Hampshire area, so we have to reuse guys that we used before.
Or it's like Alex Reynolds. It's like the premier athletes.
Yes.
Yeah, probably, honestly. It could have been, actually, now that I think about it. So they're out there. And actually, you just made me think of something. We just saw Chris Statlander attempt to get run over. But the security guards were too busy getting ready for this segment that they couldn't stop that one.
They're trying to find their hoods.
True, yeah. So he says, it's simple. I just need a chance to explain myself. Everyone's blah, blah, blah. I want to formally welcome Kip Sabian to the patriarchy. People might be wondering how it came to be after the cat and mouse game after the last few months. Well, I realized that Kip was trying to get my attention. Oh, really? He's a fatherless loser just looking for guidance. But one moment stood out above all else, and they showed the thing where Kip stole his pen, and then he went to the back going after Kip, and he ran into Claudio and PAC. Now, you people might not be smart enough to figure it out, so I'll spell it out for you. Kip Sabian had the foresight to realize what's happening. They were going to interfere and cost me the match, and this contract would be null and void. So I stand here because of Kip Sabian, the reigning and next AEW World Champion. In that moment, you did more for me than any of my sons have ever done. I love you, Kip. And Kip hugged him. Nick is just standing there. So now Nick is Wardlow, and Shayna is just oblivious. Like she's like she didn't react to this at all. So I don't know what's going on here. But
attention, Christian, your son has been arrested. Also, attention, Christian, we also have your older white hair, dumber son.
Yeah, so I thought this is the exact opposite of what I thought it was. I thought that they brought in Kip so Christian could abuse him like he used to do with Wardlow, but it looks like he's going to start abusing Nick.
You mean Luchasaurus, Killswitch?
Yeah, so Kip was replacing Killswitch. What did I say? Wardlow? Yeah.
Wardlow.
Killswitch.
Everybody's replacing Wardlow these days. Yeah, so did I. But instead we're getting son versus son for the love of a father.
And then Nick and Shane will probably turn on her son. No doubt.
Yeah. And then we turn Nick Wayne heel or a baby face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense at least.
Get some exciting promos from him. I think Nick Wayne's fine as a heel. I just need some development into him.
Yeah. Yeah, and they haven't really done anything with him. So Hook's music hits. He comes out with a mic and he says, whatever it is you have to say, make it good and make it fast because I have no patience. He just talked for like 5 minutes. And Christian says, never mind the security. Let's just talk. You're a wild card, Hook. You got crazy eyes. You're a problem. You're a bull in a china shop, and you're an ass kicker. What happened on Dynamite a couple weeks ago wasn't a beatdown or attack. I need a son like you. I had to make sure you could be disciplined. If you were going to be my son, I couldn't have that other voice in your head. So from a place of love and caring, I took your father out. He saw my face. Why did he make you check out security footage? Why couldn't he just tell you it was me? Your father realized I could take you to heights he couldn't even imagine. Your father was a legend in this business, the face of an outlaw promotion. So this is like, I think this was a shot at ECW. Right?
Yes, it definitely was.
What happened when he got to the big stage? He hung up his boots and he hid behind the announce table.
You forgot the best line of this. He goes,
"What?
He was the face of an outlaw promotion. Did the legend line come later, or I thought it was right after that? He's a legend, and if you asked him, he'd tell you.
Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah.
Okay,
I did. I missed the. If you just ask him, he'll tell you. Yeah, I did. I did hear that. I didn't write it down. Yeah, your father was a legend in this business. Yeah, just ask him. What happened when he got to the big stage? He hung up his boots and hid behind the announce table. So do you want to be an announcer like your father or a revered multi-time world champion like the patriarch Christian Cage? I'm regretting my decision not to take this thing with Taz a little bit further. No one cares if Taz is alive. I need you, Hook. I wish your father was dead. And he threw down the mic, and that was enough for Hook. He actually sat through the whole thing till he got to the line about wishing his father was dead. So he mowed through the security and Kip, got his hands on Christian, but security came in there. Christian bailed. Hook was beating on all 3 security guards, and the patriarchy was there smiling. Christian's happy. So he's bringing out that killer instinct in Hook.
Christian's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's real good. He's not, I mean,
this is a silly mid-card gimmick. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things and you kind of want. I mean, it's weird because he's in that position now where you'd like him to be serious wrestler Christian. At the same time, he could do this for years and get paid. So I'm good with it.
He can be a manager after a while.
Yes.
We kind of is now. All right. We got highlights of Cage and Archer beating up jobbers on the B show. And I'm like, okay, that was a little like out of place. But then we got Scoops Marvez with Don Callis. And he says, Callis says, no more 50-50. We're squashing everyone. And someone shows up. This is the large
process server
gentleman I mentioned earlier. And he says, who are you? And he hands Callis an envelope, presumably filled with cash, and a ring box. And he's got I got a message for you. And he plays the phone, and it's a recording from MJF. Hey, Don, it's the devil. I need you to take care of a baby for me. But if you scratch up my ring, there's a lot of other men in suits that can scratch you up too. And Callis puts on the ring. So I assume this is going to lead to Kyle Fletcher winning the ring. That's my guess. But because that's coming like in the next month or so. So I wrote down it's going to be Cage or Archer versus Cole, and probably the other versus Roddy, since we just saw a Cage and Archer video package and we just saw Don Callis here and he talked about Cage and Archer. But no, that's not what's happening. And we'll find out in a bit because obviously you missed it. So we will talk about it in a minute.
It just passed my mind. I can't remember it all.
We'll hear because I have no idea what they're going to do, honestly.
Okay.
So Penelope Ford and Jamie Hayter. This is the match that got the most most promotion on this show. Honestly, they started building this like 2.5 weeks ago, and they announced it like 2 weeks ago. And here we go. So they had a match. It was fine. And Penelope Ford took like 60% of it. They got the crowd into it at one point when Hayter was like doing like her, she's real good at firing up the crowd. And she missed the lariat when Penelope ducked out of it with her Matrix move. And then she hit a cutter for 2. And then Hayter hit the Haterade out of nowhere, got the win. So that was that. It was one segment, didn't even go through a break.
Yeah, I would have liked a fresher coat of paint on Penelope in terms of presentation. The outfit's different, but everything about her ring entrance and everything else is the same as before.
The outfit's actually a bit of a downgrade because I used to really used to love that Muda lock.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean the moveset, but no, it's just fine. I like Jamie Hayter. She still has the best theme in AEW in my opinion.
I mean, it was the worst match on the show, but it wasn't bad. It was just that it didn't get any time. And
it feels cold, though. I mean, it feels like people like Jamie Hayter, but it's like she rarely gets to talk, and it's almost like we have nowhere to slot her, so we don't want to get her too over just yet.
Yeah, because I think she's the one that's going to beat Mercedes. I mean, it's possible.
I think Stat might beat Mercedes.
I don't think so, but I'd be pleasantly. I think what we saw tonight is kind of the tell that she's not beating Mercedes, but we'll see. Maybe Mercedes is gonna have. I think Mercedes is gonna end up with the Hurt Syndicate, but we'll see.
Okay.
So then Excalibur points out that he tells everyone to go to social media and get that "We Want Mia" hashtag going, and then they played a video. Mia is coming next week, and they even had a barcode up there to take you to a video.
Mina is coming.
Yes, I'm sold. That's it. At this point, that was all that was announced for next week's show. I immediately set my PVR.
They know what they're doing.
Yes, they do. Mina is coming. Yeah. So that was not as good as my Mark Briscoe impersonation.
No, it was not. Don't ever do that again.
All right. We got at first I wrote down a random video package for Okada, narrated by JR of all people. And then I realized, they're starting the promotion for the Continental Classic. So that's cool. And I mean, it's going to start probably in like 3 weeks. So he said that he'd be on any wrestling analyst that made a top 5, he'd be on their list. And he has Excalibur says he has an opportunity to enter rarefied air, because if he wins the cruiserweight, I always called it the cruiser. If he wins the Continental Classic, he will tie Masahiro Chono for 5 major tournament victories. So Tony is including the Continental Classic with the G1 in his AEW history lore. And so they showed a lot of highlights of Masahiro Chono. And then Okada says, who is Masahiro Chono? He's not an international star like the Rainmaker. Kazuchika Okada is Japan's greatest export. And then Excalibur says he'll defend his championship and fight for his spot as an all-time great in the Continental Classic. So this, putting aside the rewriting history, this was actually a pretty good promo package for get people excited for the Continental Classic. I'm sure the AEW hardcores are like, oh my God, C2's coming.
Masahiro Chono. JR is so low energy though.
Yeah. A little more coherent than he was the last time we saw him.
A little bit, but at the same time, this is a hype package.
Yeah.
Let's get hyped.
I think Nigel would do real good on these.
Yes.
Yeah. Renee even,
Tony.
Shivani?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think in an excited Tony Schiavone, not playing it straight Tony Schiavone.
Actually, even Taz, they could have. I'm sure he's getting paid. He's just sitting at home recovering. He could have cut.
I'd even put Riccaboni in there, and I don't like.
I like that. Or send Walker Stewart a paycheck. Get him to do it. I like Walker Stewart. All right. So we're at main event time, and it's Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita versus Ricochet and a mystery partner. So I wrote down Fletcher looked like a star with his new look, and then it hit me. He looks like Randy Orton. Not Randy Orton. He's not Randy Orton now, but Randy Orton around the time he won the world title. Like, he's about the same size. I think probably same height, similar build. Wrestles completely different, obviously. Randy is technically he's a better wrestler, but Kyle is more dynamic and probably more entertaining. And I'm sure people that are AEW fans or New Japan fans are going to think I'm nuts for calling Randy Orton a better wrestler, but
let me go with let me go with something else. I want them to start calling him the Protostar Kyle Fletcher. I think that's an awesome nickname.
Well, they're trying to get it over, but yeah, they need to hammer that one home like they did.
No, on commentary, not just like T-shirts and on the trunks. That's a winner of a name right there.
Well, just like they did with the Legend Killer and the Viper, and they can Protostar over and over again. Just hammer it home. Yeah,
not as good as the red outfit with the mask, but I like this one too.
Yeah, no, I liked his outfit was great. He's bulked up.
He carries himself. Yeah, no, I remember. Was it New Orleans where I saw Aussie Open and both and Davis was bigger and
Kyle Fletcher was tall, skinny guy.
Fletcher was a beanpole. He really was.
He probably at that time looked like Zack Sabre Jr. before he bulked up.
I think he was even thinner. I don't even think he had that much muscle mass on him, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there you go. So Ricochet grabbed had a mic in his hand for his entrance, and he says, wait. Okay, look. You two morons made a mistake when you allowed me to choose anyone in AEW for my partner. As of October 4th, someone's contract with the Callis family has expired, and he feels a little upset because he feels you forgot about him. So please allow me to introduce my really pissed off tag team partner. And the crowd had no idea who he was talking about. I knew immediately. Powerhouse Hobbs, obviously. So he comes out and he got a decent pop, better than Mark Davis last week.
Oh, this crowd could care less.
No, they should have known that he was talking about Hobbs from the way he was talking, and they didn't. Some crowds would have, but this crowd didn't. I figured out, I thought it was Hobbs. I even pointed out in the Discord, and then there's a bunch of names being thrown out. A lot of people thought it was gonna be Will, Mark Davis,
and then I think not Evan Bourne.
Oh yeah, Matt Sydal, because they were. Yeah, they were partners.
I go, my God, if this is Matt Sydal, this is going to go like a fart in church.
You think, no offense, But if you think Matt Sydal as Ricochet's mystery partner would have been a good idea in the main event of AEW Dynamite in 2024,
Stop
you
listening
have
to the show.
you
By
have
the way.
lost the plot.
Yes.
Like, yeah. I think Davis, I mean, it could have been okay, but I wouldn't have loved it. This was great. Will would have been like, I mean, he would have got a
Wardlow
pop,
wouldn't have been bad either.
no, Wardlow, or Shelton. Like I could have gone with
No.
that. No, okay.
That's a bad idea because he's a heel. You don't want that.
You see, I watched the fans cheering for them.
They're heels.
Okay, you say so. I think they're all miscast. I think Strickland's a better heel, and these guys, the fans love him. But anyways, they had a match.
Kenny Omega would have been a nice one too.
Yeah. Yeah, God, that would have been. But I mean, okay, so Osprey or Omega, like, it's not a mystery partner. You got to advertise them. This was a good spot to have Hobbs as a mystery partner.
This is a good mystery partner.
Ricky Starks would have been good.
That too, yes. That's solid.
Yeah. So match started with everyone brawling. They went for like 5 minutes, just going nuts. Hobbs is just jacked as hell.
God,
he's so huge. And then eventually they settled into a tag team match, and everyone got to their spots. There was one spot where Ricochet did a dive off of Hobbs' shoulders onto the heels, like a moonsault. And Tony Schiavone said he'd never, ever, ever seen that before. I'm positive I've seen that. I think Leo Rush has done it. I think Marco Stunt used to do it. I'm sure there's other people that have done that. But
remind me of the move.
It's where Hobbs had Ricochet up on his shoulders, and then he did a moonsault to the outside onto the two guys that were on the outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen that move a lot.
I think Commander's done it 30 times in AEW.
Well, no, Commander. Oh my God, Commander did this move on Ring of Honor show I watched today, where he's got the three guys from the varsity athletes like on the one side of the ring, like on right in front of the ramp, and he could have just dove onto them from where he was, but instead he runs over to the far turnbuckle, climbs up there, takes a moment to steady himself, and then runs across the ropes and then does a springboard moonsault onto the three guys. I don't understand how that has more impact than just hitting the springboard moonsault from where he was in the first place. But, I'm not a wrestler.
Style, Paul.
Yeah, I know. It's all style. You got a 9 for style, but the Russian judges.
The match probably.
I know he actually won because he was facing Arya Davari.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So, anyways, as they mentioned here that Cole was watching from backstage, and then this is where Excalibur mentioned, "Oh yeah, next week it's Cole versus Takeshita." So that is who Don Callis chose to face him. I don't know how they get out of that one.
I do.
Like how?
Horseman beatdown.
Horseman beatdown. Who?
Yeah, no. Takeshita goes in there, and and at some point the other members of the Callis family come in there and start beating down Cole because he's being paid. They're being paid to beat him
so
down.
He wins by DQ.
Yes.
Oh, people are gonna hate that.
I'll love it.
You'll love it, and I'll love it. But the AW hardcore is
what a good match. This could have been a 5 seconds could have gone in my notebook.
Yeah. So okay, they could do that. Yeah. So I was curious, like, why did they even bother doing that Cage Archer video package if it was going to be?
No, it's about getting heat. They paid the guy to beat him up, not to win a wrestling match.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get it, but then we're also building up to Takeshita for a match.
By the way, where the hell was Don Callis for this match?
They mentioned this. No, they said something at the beginning. They explained why he wasn't there. He was backstage getting Cage and Archer ready for something. Like they did.
So he filmed the vignette last week and didn't make town. Okay,
could be. Yeah, that's probably it. So the Takeshita hit a jumping knee on Ricochet. Takeshita went for the waistlock German. Ricochet flipped out of it. He went for the poison Rana, but Takeshita blocked it. Fletcher hit a doomsday device while he was holding him on his shoulders. He took Hobbs outside the ring. Takeshita 2 count. Fletcher screaming, "Kill him!" at Takeshita. Then he missed a knee. Rick had a couple enziguris. Fletcher was grabbing his ankle, but Hobbs just charged him and mauled him like a bear. Takeshita hit an elbow to the head. He went for something, and Hobbs pushed Ricochet out of the way, so he took the bullet for him. Then Ricochet went for a springboard Rana, but then he hit a poison Rana, rolled him up for 2, went to the top. shooting star press. Crowd bought that as a finish, but Takeshita kicked out. And then he loaded up and he hit his new finisher called the spear gun and got the win. So he pinned Takeshita clean, which surprised me. But I mean, they're setting up a international title match, so it makes sense. I mean, you probably forgot that Takeshita was a champion.
I've forgotten half these guys are champions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really talk about it much. I'm sure he held the belt, but yeah. So they're going to do Ricochet and Takeshita at the pay-per-view, and it looked like they're setting up Fletcher and Hobbs, or no, I think they're doing like probably Fletcher and the Cage and Archer.
Is Takeshita and Ricochet there, or is it on like that
Well,
New Japan
thought that they were
Strong?
building that, but I think they're going to save it. In fact,
Takeshita's fighting on a New Japan Strong show, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes,
against an AEW guy, or is
yeah.
it a New Japan
Yeah,
guy?
I think it's like Juice or something. No, it's no. Oh shit, who is it? I saw it. Or maybe it's a Japanese guy.
I thought it was Ricochet, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
No. They did a angle. No, the Ricochet match can be at Full Gear.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. No, you know what? It's TJP. He's fighting.
Oh, that okay. Now I got it.
Yeah. So yeah, because I remember Garrett was complaining about because he hates TJP. No, I think what they're gonna do is I think they're gonna do like a 6-man at the pay-per-view. It's gonna be probably Will, Mark Davis, and Will Hobbs. So it's 2 Wills and Mark Davis against Cage, Archer, and Fletcher. And then I think we're gonna get Fletcher and Ospreay on opposite sides of the bracket in the C2. And they'll meet in the finals, or they'll be in the same bracket and they'll meet on the last day to win the block. That's my prediction. And so, because I think they both got to be in that C2. So yeah, so after the match, Fletcher laid out both guys with a chair, and the Aussie music hits, and I think the fans thought it was Will Ospreay, but Mark Davis made the save.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and
my joke was it was nice of Mark Davis to roll out of bed to do a run-in.
Oh, he was dressed like, I mean, he
had sweatpants, no socks, and dress shoes, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he just might as well just hopped out of the crowd. Like if he'd been sitting in the front row the whole night, there's not a chance we would have
either wear gear or wear street clothes. But don't do this. This was bad.
So he showed up. They got in each other's face, but they never actually touched each other. Mark Davis and Kyle. I was watching, and then Archer attacked him from behind. Brian Cage leveled him with a clothesline, and Fletcher just watched it. Adam Cole makes a save, and Takeshita stopped him on the ramp, and they brawled to the back. So now it's 3-on-1 on Mark Davis in the ring. Fletcher grabbed a screwdriver, and Will Ospreay's music hits, and he made the save. Speared Kyle. Archer and Cage pulled him off. Archer grabbed Davis, ended up fighting him, and then we got a spine buster by Hobbs and Archer, and it ended up with 4-on-1 with the baby faces against Fletcher, but he rolled out. I love the angle at the end.
This was fun. This was just wrestling, and
I set up a bunch of stuff in this.
Crowd woke up for Will Ospreay finally. That was nice of him.
Yeah, and they were totally into this brawl at the end, and Kyle is going to be a big star. Ospreay, he looked a little different. Like there's just something different with his look. I'm not sure what it was. His beard's coming out a little bit, maybe.
I'll have to take a look. Maybe he's gained a little weight.
No, it was all face. Like so, it maybe slightly different haircut too.
Okay,
but he just looked a little bit different, meaner, which is good.
Sorry. Good coffee.
I have my coffee. Yeah, it is good coffee. It's on I have a little coffee warmer that my wife bought me on my desk here. How do you
take your coffee?
Usually black, but it's flavored coffee, so it's like French vanilla, but with no cream.
I only drink cold brew or iced coffee. I can't drink.
Okay. Coffee. Well, by the end of the day, it's cold brew. Yeah.
Well, no, cold brew is a different thing.
So next week, they put up graphics, and all they announced was next week. Takeshita and Cole. Even though I think there's like FTR and House of Black is next week, and then on Collision we're gonna get PAC, Yuta, and Claudio against a conglomeration. But he mentioned it, and they had the graphic up there for a split second. So I don't know which members of the conglomeration
it's gonna be. Probably Rocky Romero.
No, I think it's Kyle, Briscoe, and Ishii, but I don't know that.
Okay.
Because probably the 3 guys that were out there on this show, right? Like you would think. I mean, that's.
I don't think they're gonna want Ishii involved. I think it's gonna be another.
Okay. Could be Rocky then. Yeah. Who else is in the conglomeration? I know Willow is, but she's out injured again.
Orange.
Oh yeah, yeah, but he wouldn't. Oh yeah, he could. Yeah, that would make sense actually. Yeah, because
And then he can take the pin because he's injured or whatever.
no, he should be the
Or
one that
win.
gets the pin. Yeah,
Okay,
because he's
okay.
facing Moxley at the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
he can pin Yuta.
Lady B says Will's hair was different. It was given headband Chris Jericho vibes. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I couldn't
yeah,
remember
that's
offhand.
probably what I noticed. And who is Mina and why is she coming? Who cares? Did you see the video? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to repeat what I said, but
you shouldn't have even indulged that.
Okay. I don't know. But yeah, so I like the close. They landed the close. As Jeff is wont to say on this closing angle, 10 out of 10, no notes.
No, it was you know what? It was a good old fashioned television wrestling ending where it's like a big schmoz in the ring and it sets up a matches for next week, and it feels like it felt like a feud beatdown. Didn't feel like a wrestling beatdown because Archer gets it, and Cage can do it occasionally when he wants to. I mean, it felt like, hey, we're just beating guys down. We're not doing moves on them, so to speak.
Can I offer up one minor, not so minor critique of the show overall?
Yes.
Okay. We spent the last 2 months of Moxley running amok and just going wild over everyone and everything. Like that's just kind of not really a thing anymore, is it? He's just really focused on Orange Cassidy at this point.
He doesn't have a grand vision anymore. You're correct on that. And it's one of those things where for the angle that they're trying to do with him is that he should be taking advantage of these types of chaos segments to take people out.
Yeah. That's kind of because I was looking at this ending thing and thinking, why isn't Moxley involved? And then
because they're trying to do the mystery thing with his motives and crap like that. He needs to be a little bit more random.
Yeah. And then all the guys that he's been targeting, they disappeared. Like, where's Garcia? Where was Private Party tonight? Where was
Lady B had the match I was trying to think of, which is Zack Sabre Jr. and Ricochet at Wrestle Dynasty.
Did they mention Kenny on tonight's show, or did I miss it? I don't believe they did.
They did not.
Not sure if they mentioned Zack Sabre Jr. Ricochet at Wrestle Dynasty either. Guess it may be too early to promote that show. Honestly, Lady B, even though I watched New Japan, but I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were listening at the time or not. I'm a little bit behind. So the last show I watched was October 31st. So I haven't seen Monday's show yet. I had no idea Zack Sabre Jr. was wrestling Ricochet at Wrestle Dynasty until you just mentioned it now. So obviously they didn't, or I would have wrote it down.
No, but I had a 10-minute rant on why Kenny Omega should have been on AEW Dynamite instead of New Japan.
Yeah. So you can go back and watch that. It's archived on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel, or sign up for the free audio feed, and you can hear Jeff's rant at the beginning of the show. Spoiler hot, no, it's fine. I mean, I know he's wrestling Shooter on at the Wrestle Kingdom.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, I did know that Ricochet attacked Zack because they talked about it on Jeremy Feinstein's show. I didn't listen to his show because I didn't want to be spoiled, but I saw the graphic for it. And it was that Speaking of Strong Style every Thursday afternoon. So it'll be tomorrow. So I actually I haven't listened because he hasn't recorded it yet. But the video package, or the video still, if you're subscribed to this feed, you'll see it. And it's Ricochet standing over Zack. So, I got a thread to mention. Cool. Sorry. My watch buzzes every time somebody tags me on Threads. It's so annoying, and I can't figure out how to get rid of it.
Don't go on Threads.
Well, I don't.
Delete Threads.
Somehow my phone. Yeah.
Although it's probably tied into your Instagram now, so now you're screwed.
It is. Yeah. So that's about it. Yeah, we maximized our minutes here, and
yes, we did.
I want to go watch NXT. So, Jeff, get your plugs in.
Well, if I can get Nova out of his crippling depression after the election, we'll be doing Shake Them Ropes later this week. Going over any of the news that happened. Can't remember if we went before or after Crown Jewel, but we'll see. Also, nothing planned for Vader Club, but he did get very excited that I told him the vault for WWE is possibly unearth a Bret Hart versus Hakushi cage match. That's going to drop Friday.
I remember the
wins the
standard
voting.
match they did, but not a cage
Yes,
match.
no, yeah, this has never been seen. I don't think. I think this was a house
Okay.
show match, and he is a big Jinsei Shinsaki fan. So
Nice.
that might be Vader Club if we record later in the week, but it will drop whenever we get to it. Whatever. But that's on the Voices of Wrestling super feed or on our own RSS feed. Look it up at Shake the Ropes. You can also follow me, arcane references, people jumping down my throat, people calling me a moron for my Kenny Omega takes at Crap Game 13. I don't read the replies. No, I do.
This thread that I got tagged in.
Is it about me?
No, but it's about something you just talked about, and I'm toying with the idea of reading it, but I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll read it to you off air.
Thank you. Can't blue ball me like that.
No, it's like 5. We'll be done here in like a minute.
Okay.
So I'm at Paul Ace Fontaine on X. You can follow me. I believe we might be doing a Hall of Fame show here on the Fight Game Media Network this weekend, because the deadline for the Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Fame ballots is Friday, I think. So yeah, it'll be me, Garrett, Jeremy, Scott Edwards possibly, and JD Oliva. So
sounds about right. Am I the only person on this network that doesn't have a ballot? Probably.
Yeah, and I think we tried to get you one, and you've politely declined.
Oh, did you? I thought it was just.
We talked about
it. Was offered. Okay.
No, we talked about it.
Okay.
So, anyways, so you can check that out, and then I'll also be watching UFC, and you can see my tweets on ESPN if you're watching along. It's just an Apex show this week, so nobody's watching. So, for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show.
Next week, Kenny Omega.